and welcome to Course 9, Building Community Power.
Community power is the ability of a community to control the decisions that affect their lives. This can lead to collective actions that benefit the whole of the community through positive social change.
But community power is not a given. We have to organize to build and solidify our strength.
In this course, we'll learn how we as public health professionals can help build community power, and with it, health equity.
We'll take a look at the role of community in public health, examine how we can move from a paternalistic approach to a collaborative, supportive role, and
how we can build power with communities and organizations so that they can advance their own visions to create a healthier country.
Public health recognizes that community engagement is important. If we want to serve the community, we have to talk to them. However, there are different approaches to community engagement that can facilitate more or less power for the community. We can see these different approaches depicted along a spectrum. There are many different community engagement spectrums. We're going to focus on the spectrum of community engagement to ownership by the Movement Strategy Center because it helps us think about moving beyond community engagement to community power.
The default for many organizations has been to ignore the community. In too many instances, governments, corporations, and community-serving organizations, including public health, have chosen to set their own agendas when it comes to addressing community challenges. From an ignore stance, we assume we know best what the community needs and that their voices, needs, and interests do not matter. What ends up happening is that community members who are already marginalized become even more so, and power inequities get worse.
But many in public health have moved beyond this stage and will at least engage the community to share information. For example, we might share data with community members about health trends or existing resources. The community can then use this information to improve individual health or develop strategies to address community health issues that are important to them.
While informing the community is better than ignoring them, this is still very unidirectional. It doesn't build power and, in fact, maintains inequitable power relations between public health and the community. The community is expected to just wait for public health to come and impart wisdom and knowledge.
But there are limits to our knowledge, and at some point, public health comes to realize we don't have all the answers.
When we think about community engagement in public health, the consult and involve stages are where we find most of our approaches land, or at least where many are striving to be. In the consult stage, public health will use community forums, focus groups, surveys, and other methods to collect input from the community. We want to hear what they think about a plan, project, or decision. In theory, this is a great first step. We've moved from unidirectional engagement with the community to bidirectional engagement. However, in practice, this often comes at a point too late in the process when a decision has already been made about a plan or project.
So the community's input ends up having very little, if any, impact at all. This leaves community members who were engaged feeling tokenized. Again, inequitable power relations between public health and the community remain the same.
At the involve stage, we start to get more intentional. Ideally, we involve the community earlier on in the process, and we view them as significant contributors to our plans and processes. Their needs and interests are much more integrated into both the planning and decision-making. Some of the ways we see this in public health is through advisory committees, community dialogues, and community planning meetings.
This is a great stage to be in because you're really able to build trust with the community, but also you're starting to share and leverage power together. However, we can still run into challenges around structures of participation. Not necessarily everyone who needs to be represented can easily access our processes. For example, the most marginalized groups in the community. So, for some parts of the community, inequitable power relations will persist. At the collaborate stage, we are really starting to shift power. Within our initiatives, we are creating opportunities for communities to lead parts of the process. This takes a lot of time, effort, and resources. However, community leadership and expertise are critical to the success of public health projects. We must work together with the community to make the projects truly collaborative.
The final stage of the spectrum is defer to.
By deferring to community members, we are not just sharing power with the community, we've actually shifted power to them. With full community ownership of the decision-making process, public health's role becomes that of a supporter. Depending on what the community decides, we might participate, listen, facilitate, or implement the decisions of the community.
This is a huge mindset shift and can feel difficult or uncomfortable for public health. That's why it's important to put the time, effort, and intention into transforming our institutional processes and building strong, mutual relationships with the community. In this stage, we recognize our community as equals and partners with power of their own. As supportive partners, we've helped foster democratic participation, community decision-making, and community power building. No matter where you are on the spectrum, there are small steps you can take to move from ignoring and informing to collaboration and deferring to. And if you're ready, there's even more to think about when it comes to building and shifting power, community organizing, and leveraging different mechanisms of change alongside the community.
In this course, you'll explore numerous readings and interactives that break down the process in detail. Take time to dig into the readings, discuss things with your team, and work at what it means to engage with the community and shift power. Course 9 is a fascinating look at how we can do our jobs more deeply, build power with the community, and foster better public health for everyone. So dig deep into Course 9 and start building.